Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
Yes, indeed.
It's always Queens get the money when she's here. Ladies and gentlemen, Tika Sumpter. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good morning, Tika. How are you feeling?
I love your show, and I'm happy to be back. I'm good. How are you guys?
Blessed, black, and highly favored.
Good.
Happy to see you.
Good.
I didn't know your real name was Euphemia.
Yeah, it's Euphemia. It's a Greek goddess. She was a martyr, and my dad named me that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Latique is where they get Tika from?
Yes.
Okay.
Euphemia Latique. My grandma somehow figured out Tika. It's like a tiki bird, a black tiki bird in Florida. So Euphemia Latique Sumpter, but in school they'd be like, Euphemia. I'd be like, just Tika. Just say Tika.
Yeah. When did you learn what Euphemia meant?
Euphemia?
Euphemia, I'm sorry.
Well, I looked it up because I was like, what is that? And and I met some like Greek people and they were like, Euphemia, that's Greek. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I looked it up and I was like, oh, my dad kind of, thought of me as this beautiful human being. Yeah. He saw the future.
What'd that do for your confidence back then?
Nothing, because I thought it was a terrible name and it was too big for me. And I'm like, I don't know what this is. You're in Queens and you're like, and the teacher's like, Euphemia, Eukanuba. Like, you're like, oh God, just call me Tika. So it did nothing. Until now, until like my older age.
It all worked out.
That's right.
It all worked out.
And how'd you get into acting coming from Queens? Like what was the acting bug?
Oh my gosh, it's crazy because you don't see anybody. I mean, my sisters actually were dancers, like when they danced in videos back in the day, and like Kid and Play, like MC Light, all that stuff. So I like saw pictures, like I stole pictures from them and took them to school and was like, she's dating this person, so I saw it from afar, but I didn't know that I can actually do it, honestly. I used to love watching cartoons and things like that. I only knew I could do it when I went to Long Island and I heard of this woman named Mariah Carey, who's from Huntington. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And so I started going on the LIRR, Long Island Railroad, to New York and taking classes. But I didn't know that I can do it. I just saw the TV and I was like, this is a job? Like, you don't know it until you can see somebody, or you see somebody else who's actually doing it,
And your parents believed back then because, they had to take you, right?
No, my mom didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Okay.
So where did she think you was going to the
because I used to work at a movie theater, so I had my own money to do it and take classes, but like she trusted me. I was a very trusting child because my siblings made all the mistakes, and she was like, okay.
I mean, you're Euphemia. You
have to live up to
that. Girl, you got to live up to that.
Right.
Exactly. And so I would go to New York and on the weekends take classes, and it wasn't until I moved to New York to go to Marymount Manhattan College. I couldn't afford it. It was too expensive. I don't know why I chose a private college. And I told my mom that I was leaving and I'm going to try acting. And she was like, first of all, where's your 401k? Like, I grew up in that kind of environment. My mom was a corrections officer at Rikers. So, she's like, what's the plan? Yeah. Because we don't know anybody who acts, who's making any money. Yeah.
I love the fact I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask you, when do you feel like your breakout moment? When do you feel like you actually made it, that role?
I feel like there are many different breakout moments for different people, right? And I remember quitting my job in New York. I worked at a private members club. And I was just done. Like, I was done with people being inconsiderate and entitled and talking to me sideways. I literally walked out. Like, I didn't tell anybody. I just left. And I'm like crying down the street, New York moment. And the lady's like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine.
In New York, somebody actually stopped to see if he was okay?
It was a white lady.
It must have looked real bad. He must look that bad. He was like, something's wrong with her.
Damn.
It was some white lady. She was like, are you okay? And I was like, I'll be okay. And, I auditioned for this show called One Life to Live at the time. And my ex at the time was like, look, how about you go for your dream? This is the first time I've ever felt like I've had like somebody to fall back on. And I was like, go for my dream? He's like, yeah, I'll take care of everything. You go for your dream. But that only lasted a week because then I booked one.
Damn.
I was like, oh.
I can take care of you for 1 week.
So we got 1 week.
After that, back to reality.
No, it only lasted a week because I booked a job.
Oh, you booked a job.
Okay.
They held you down for 7 days.
Damn.
Yeah. So I booked One Life to Live, and after that, I never had to like waitress or do any of those things ever again.
I love that you worked at a movie theater for, because when you think back on your life, you look at all of these different moments that kind of gave you signs. Did that give you a sign back then?
Yeah, it was the closest thing I had to like what I wanted my reality to be. And so yeah, I worked at a movie theater for a while. It was United Artists. It's no longer around, but I would get my mom some free movies. I'd give her free candy and popcorn and all that stuff. So yeah, it was one of those things where that was the closest I ever got to what I wanted to be.
Yeah, I know that's right.
You played Michelle Obama a few years ago.
I did.
How was that? Did you get to pick her brain at all? Or?
I didn't. We got the okay to do it because, we definitely didn't want to step on anybody's toes. But it was just from the point of view of, before she became Michelle, like their first date. And so it was something that I produced and we took to Sundance and we sold it to Miramax at the time. And, it worked out. And my friend Richard Taney wrote the script and I got to work with my friend Parker Sawyer, so it was really fun to do, and I feel that project was very close to my heart.
Did it come out before or after becoming her book? I don't remember.
Way after, before.
Okay.
Before.
Damn, you didn't have nothing to work on.
Well, yeah, he had wrote his books already, but her brother wrote a book.
Okay.
So I got to understand the inside of who she was before she became the Michelle Obama.
Gotcha.
And so that was more fun for me because I wasn't trying to replicate who she is now. I had to kind of get an idea of who she was before that, right? And she was his boss. So their first date was definitely it was walking the line.
You get canceled for that today.
Well, where else do you meet your person?
Not your boss though. You can't date your boss.
Why?
You out of here in the workplace? Oh, human resources all day
maybe
long.
because it's a double standard. Maybe it's different when it's a woman and a guy.
I just feel like where do you meet
position.
your significant other nowadays?
Yeah.
Like nobody goes to bars.
I'm with you.
Nowadays, it's the toughest thing. Like you can't. I'm not gonna say you're not allowed
would you
to.
know?
Because
You've been married for 20
you don't watch the
years.
human resource video that they make you watch every week. You got somebody else do it for you.
Yeah.
He got somebody else do it for him. See, I can tell you don't watch it.
And I met my man in the bar. I did meet my guy in the bar, yes.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
I met guys in bars.
Right,
but
right,
I'm
right.
just saying that's when you used to go out.
Right.
But yeah, most of it was at work. So for me too.
Now tell us about the Sonic the Hedgehog, and was that
Third
difficult?
installment.
Because you're not. It is a person, but it's not a person. It's animation. So.
Yeah, I mean it's incredible what they do and how they make them look. The first one was just like a tennis ball. I was like connecting with. The second Sonic 2, it was these huge 3D cutouts of like us talking to Sonic and Tails and all that stuff. And then the third one was like these huge puppeteers who actually were like talking to us as their voice, as Idris and Keanu and whoever else. And so yeah, it grew as the budget grew.
Are we on the same room, or is it individually?
No, they're in the same room.
Okay.
They're in the same room. Not the voiceover part. Like they do their part separately, like Ben Schwartz who does Sonic and all that stuff. They do it in a booth.
Okay.
But for us to make it real, they bring these like puppeteers and like we're like, I love you, Sonic, or Knuckles is like, I don't understand, that kind of thing. And so yeah, we get to like act across from real actors. And
Do you like it?
I love it.
It just seems
gonna
weird.
say,
Like
yeah.
you're talking to a Muppet, and
I know, but
one
it's-
time you're talking to a tennis ball.
I know, but it's like using your imagination, right? Like the closest thing to creativity is play. So, I mean, that's what you get to, I got to do it. And I feel like I'm the coolest mom ever. Because my daughter, who's 8, is like, she saw it and she's like, thank you so much, Mom. And then all her friends were like, you're Sonic's mom.
Yes.
So I feel like I have different street cred.
She's 8 now?
She's 8 years
Time
old.
flies, boy. Time is not playing with none of
Not at all. With or without you.
With or without.
With or without you. Yeah.
Now, when they first booked you for that, what made you say, I want to do this? Because it's totally different than what you've done before. What made you want to do that?
Well, honestly, they asked me to come read at like a huge Paramount table reading, all the executives, everybody was there. And I was like, do y'all want me to come read with you guys? That's awesome. And so then they offered me the job. I wanted to do it because I wanted to do something that my daughter can actually watch.
Gotcha.
Like, I feel like everything I do is like, she can't really watch it. So, yeah.
How is it working with Jim Carrey?
Oh my
Because he's Dr. Robotnik.
Yes.
Yeah,
He plays
nobody else could play that role better.
And he plays 2 roles in this. He
Yeah.
plays his own grandfather and then the grandson. And so he's in. First of all, I grew up watching him in Living Color.
Yeah, same.
And so to see somebody who you look up to for so long, the first one I was like, oh my God, Jim Carrey. And he's like, all right, let's talk about the script and like all the things. And what do you think about this? And help like write this joke. And I was like, what? Me? No, I can't help with anything. You write that, But it was really cool that he kind of embraced us and he's just super normal. Now it's like, oh, that's Jim,
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was
gosh.
awesome. It was awesome. A dream come true.
I wonder when you have, yourself and then you have stars of that magnitude like Keanu and Jim, do they need to be seen? Clearly not, right? Do y'all need to be seen?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
In what way?
Like as far as like being on the screen, like it's your voices, but it's not y'all act.
Oh,
per
them,
se.
yeah. I mean, you see Jim on the screen. You see what he does. I think with Keanu and Idris, you know their voices, so you don't have to. People are excited that it's Keanu and Idris, but also, the characters that they're playing are super iconic.
Yeah.
So it's like they, it's great that we have them. We love them, but also like the characters are, the gamers are like, we're down for the ride.
But do you tell people it's you? Like if somebody be like, oh, I love that character, you be like, that's me.
What? But you see me. I'm
Oh.
not. No, I'm not a cartoon.
I ain't never seen it.
No.
So. I just was
Obviously.
assuming
He's
because you was talking like you was a voice actor, so I never seen it. Oh, okay.
No, I'm talking to like the characters
Got
on screen, like
you.
Sonic and Tails
Got
and
you.
Knuckles. Get
Because
with the program.
Sonic
never
is
seen
not real. He the only one that's not real.
Not real,
You
but
thought he was real?
I'm real.
Who, Sonic?
Yeah.
And Knuckles?
He knew Sonic wasn't real.
You knew,
No, I know
yeah.
Sonic and Knuckles not real.
Okay. Oh, you just thought the whole movie
I
was
thought the whole
animated.
thing was
okay,
animated.
I
No,
got it. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
It's live action. Like they're,
Yeah.
James Marsden and me and other people are real. Jim Carrey's real.
Got
Yeah.
you.
So it's
Ben
real.
Schwartz.
Ben,
all them
Ben
there.
Schwartz is the
You just
son.
confused the hell out of him right
I know.
now.
He was like,
No, I did.
it's
I
not
never
a
got in, I
cartoon.
never got into the Sonics thing. Actually, what caught me was the trailer for Knuckles one time,
Yeah.
but that was on TV.
Yeah, that was a series.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
They
a
had
series.
Nuck If You Buck in the
Nuck
trailer.
if you
Nuck
buck.
If You Buck and
Yeah,
everything.
that caught your attention.
did.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
Now you was talking earlier that your mom just allowed you to go, right?
Yeah.
Now is your son or daughter?
Daughter.
If your daughter
Ella.
get older, would you let her just go and say go ahead? Nope.
These days?
No,
Not-
I mean, it's hard. I do, like, we went, like, camping one, and she's like, I just want to go.
Camping?
We did. We went camping.
The Queens is out of you now.
No,
Camping?
really. Oh,
What's wrong with camping?
but we went to, like, auto camp. It was like a glamping.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like in a
Yeah.
community. She's like, I want to walk over. She's very independent. I think it's really important to allow your child to have some access to independence because I feel like, or you can be kind of clobbering them and like, I feel like I used to, when I was in Queens, I would go down the block until the lights were
course,
turned
yeah.
on. And it was like, Tika, come home. And I just felt like that's how you learn. That's how you learn how to fight for yourself. I remember getting jumped by my two friends. Yeah, like,
They weren't your friends.
no,
Yeah, they weren't your
obviously, I
friends.
found
Yeah,
out
yeah.
that day. They're like, Tika, come over here. I'm like, what?
Hold on. You got hit with the come outside. We not gonna jump you. What?
And she went like,
Hey,
hey.
little Tika's like, going to somebody's house. The girls are like, y'all gonna fight. What?
Why though?
What
For no
did you do?
I didn't do, I was a very sweet child. I did not do anything. I think they just wanted to, I don't know why they wanted to fight me.
Wow.
Did you
But-
win or lose?
They was
I
trying
You
know,
got jumped.
Let me tell you, my adrenaline, when they told me the girl, I wish I could say her name because I remember, that's how impacted
You remember
I
her
was.
name?
I remember everybody's name. And I was like, I'm going to fight her. And she was big. And
Like,
my,
you mean big, like big back or like
like
diesel?
big back.
Big back. Okay.
And I was like, my adrenaline shot to my like heart. And I remember taking her hand, there was a thorn bush, swinging her, throwing her in the thorn bush, and she being like, I don't want to fight you. I was like, what? Like, it was it was like I was in a dream. And I don't know where the power came from. I'm like, was it an angel? Because it was not me. It couldn't have been me.
It was Euphemia.
It was Euphemia.
Yes, girl. Yes, that's you. You know?
Yeah, and I walked away alive.
I thought you said you got jumped.
Well, they were all around me, so it was like it was a setup, more of a
okay,
setup.
but they didn't actually.
They didn't jump me.
Okay,
They were about
got you,
to
got you,
when
got
the
you.
girl in the thorn
It was
bush.
And they was like, nah.
one-on-one, but my friends were around me, and I was like, I don't understand.
That's smart though. You took the biggest one out first. So once they see that, everybody else
Yeah,
falls.
but like, nah, I don't wanna fight.
Yeah.
You tell your daughter those stories?
She asked me the other day. She's like,
Have you ever fought a big back?
No, she didn't ask me that.
no, she did ask me the other day, Mom, have you ever been drunk? And I was like,
What is she watching?
no, because my daughter asks all the questions.
Right.
I'm just open with my child. I really am. And not in a way where it's like inappropriate, but like I was drinking a beer at home one night and we were talking. She's like, have you ever been drunk? And I was like, my husband's like, yes, she has. And I'm like, and he tells her the story and she's like, wow.
Well, we want to know the story now.
Yeah.
When was Tika drunk?
I've been drunk many times. You don't want to know. That was my past life.
It's funny though, because you talk about how you came up, but it's like, yo, we can't do that with our kids nowadays. I don't feel comfortable just letting my kids just go out and roam.
Nope.
I mean, you know that lady who got arrested for letting her 10-year-old walk? He was walking to the store.
Yeah.
Did y'all hear about that story?
He walked a mile, right?
He walked a mile.
Wow.
He's 10.
And that was in the South, too.
What happened?
He walked nothing. He walked
Nothing.
to the
He
store.
walked to the store,
That
and
was
they
so
came to
bad.
arrest her to say he was in. Somebody called the cops. He was in danger. And you know, most states have that law. There's like only 4 that don't.
I
Like,
didn't even know that was
yes,
a law. That,
yeah, it's like in child endangerment or something like that. But like, I'm like, you can't even let your child walk to a store, which is crazy.
That's
So our
crazy.
parents should be in jail, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I done went to the bodega so many times.
Oh my gosh, and asked for credit.
Gone all day until the street lights come on.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Now you worked with Tyler Perry on a few projects.
I did.
And I noticed that, you know, a lot of actors that work with him say that that was the first time that they ever got paid what they were worth. Was that the same for you?
I'm lucky in this industry. Like for the jobs that I have had, I've been paid very well,
Yeah.
and he has continued the process for me. And so I feel super grateful because even now, like I was trying to get a project made for 5 years, and I had it with different production companies, and I co-wrote something with a friend of mine who's a writer on P-Valley, and I brought it to him, and within days he calls me. He's like, I'll direct it. This is the first time he's ever directed something that he didn't write. And he's like, you produce it for, like, you really go out and produce it, which I love. He's like, so I'm co-writing, producing, and starring in a film that Amazon, Sisters in Italy.
Okay.
And Amazon bought it. And so we're finishing it in Italy in April. So, and he said yes in June, July. We started in September.
Congratulations. That's
Tyler's a
amazing.
great dude, man.
Yeah,
He don't
he
get.
is.
I don't think he really gets the flowers or the credit that he deserves.
I think he gets it, and he gets it from the people that matter to him. You know, I think, you know, there's obviously a group of people who don't like what he does, but you don't have to watch it.
You said something very important. You said the people that matter to him. If more of us could embrace that, like just caring about the opinions of people that actually matter to us and don't care about the opinions of the people who don't matter to us.
That's
man.
it. That's it. My word this year was like, do not chase. My words. I'm not going to chase after anything that is not for me, or nor am I going to chase people that I'm like begging you to come see me, because there are so many people who see me and love what I do and follow what I do and say it every day, you know, when I'm in the airport or whatever, and I'm like, oh my God. So just go after the people who are going after you. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to get everybody, and you're not going to always get the, you know, the Oscar people who deem that important. Do you know, remember the time at the Oscars where they went on the street to everyday people and they're like, do you know this movie? Do you know this movie? They were like, no, nope. Most people don't know those movies. You know, not that they don't matter, but the masses go and look at a lot of things that YouTubers do, other people do. And so, you know, not that they can't live in the same world, but that's not all that matters.
That's why I don't get mad when I'm watching the Oscars and, like, let's say Angela Bassett doesn't win for, what was it, Black Panther 2. I didn't see the other movies, so I don't know if she got gypped or not.
Right. You can't have this voice of like, well, they deserve. It's like, well, did you see everything else
That's
too?
right.
You know, although she does. I mean, I think What's Love Got to Do with It got robbed, but
Yeah.
again,
absolutely.
I don't even know the other movies that were on there.
Me neither.
Yeah.
They just said the same thing. They said she got robbed for that one. But I ain't seen
I
that
didn't
movie.
see that movie.
That was too much. She did too much of a great
that
job.
was
in
a
that,
lot.
right?
That's,
Who could do better than this?
Oh my God.
Powerhouse.
Oh my God.
right?
For sure.
So speaking of going after people who go for you, you met your man,
Yes.
your husband, on the set of The Have and Have Nots. Who approached who?
I honestly, I did.
You shot your shot.
I shot my shot, which I usually do in my life anyway. But he was just making me laugh, and it was a long day. And I honestly said, I will not date any more actors. Like, I was like, no more. I'm done. I'm finished. And then I gave him my number, and I was like, call me, like, if you guys go out. And he didn't. And he's like, no, there's no way you're not married. And I was like, no, there is a way. And so, yeah, we went out one night, and then that was history.
Was he really making you laugh, or you just thought he was cute, so you just was giggling?
I thought he was cute. I thought he was cute, and then I was like, you know what? No, that's when I was like, I'm not doing this. And then he really did. He's really funny, like dry humor, and I love to laugh, and so that's actually what really did attract me.
Why'd you say you're not doing this though? Like,
Yeah, that's what I was
Not doing it anymore.
I've dated. I'm a quiet dater, and I love that about my life. I keep things very close to the chest, and I've dated enough people in our industry where I'm like, I'm good.
Did you date Drake?
Drake, no.
Oh.
No.
what kind of random ass light skinned beige
No,
question
you know
was
what?
that?
He was on.
That was a rumor.
Like Drake on your mind all the
No,
time.
I didn't date Drake, but I hosted a show when I first came up called Best Friends Date, and he was on it. He was like the celebrity guy on it, and I called him Aubrey during that time, so that's probably why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you date Drake?
No, I did not. Don't
When
start
you Google
rumors.
it, when you Google it, it pops up. And
Does
then,
it?
Yes, and then you look on the screen. It says right here. It's like she allegedly dated Drake.
No.
Never heard that.
Allegedly was the most important word in that sentence right there.
That's why I
He's trying
asked.
to start trouble.
Yeah.
Was it insulting when he said, "I can't"? You're not married, or there's no way you're not married? or whatever
No, it was a thing of like nobody nobody asked you yet. Like, how could you be single? It was that
But
kind
there's
of thing.
no way that
There's
you
no
are
way
this
you're
fine
single.
and this,
Right? I was having fun, but
Right.
yeah. But I was
So,
single.
The previous actors that you had dated, were you working with them? Was Nick the first person that you were working with that you actually dated?
No.
Okay.
This is why you said that earlier. Where are you supposed to meet people if you're not working?
That would make sense. That would make sense.
supposed to meet people.
At the bar? That would make sense. That would make
Did the
sense.
other people on set peep that? Like, okay, Tika and Nick over there doing something. Like,
Oh my
did they say that?
gosh, dude! During you're in your dressing rooms, not anything crazy, but
Right.
he had my makeup on. Well, Tyler has like a strict like don't mess up my stuff over here, right? Because if y'all don't get along, my show must go on.
That's right.
And so he went downstairs to go on set, and his nose was brown. And Tyler's like, "What black girl you been kissing?" And
Jesus.
he's like, he knows. He literally knows. And I was like, oh my God. And then he called me. He's like, what are you doing? What's happening? And I was like, oh, I don't know. We don't know. It's just hanging out.
Tyler Perry said, we ain't got no blackface scenes in
Yeah.
here. What's going on? What you doing, Nick?
It's crazy. He called Tyler. right.
What shade leaves stains?
What shade leaves stains?
What the hell?
Okay.
It's crazy. When I got pregnant, nobody knew that I was pregnant. I get a phone call. Tyler calls me. Are you pregnant? I was not even showing. Nothing. I just found out like literally like I was probably 2 months pregnant or a month. So I was something early.
Yeah.
He called me. He's like, are you pregnant? Something in my spirit is saying that.
Jesus.
I was like, and my mom didn't even know. Nobody knew except me and Nick. It's crazy. So
You
What was y'all
confirmed it
shooting
then?
in?
I did confirm it.
Oh.
Was that the movie with Tiffany?
That was with Tiffany.
Okay.
Yeah. So who was that with? No, I don't. My timelines are way
Yeah.
off. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No,
when
I
you have a
got you.
child, you're like, it's like
All of it just run together.
7, 6, 8. I don't know. It was in the beginning though. So yeah.
You know Dr. Umar? I just want to know if you know.
Is he here? I would love to hug him.
You and Nick watch Dr. Umar videos? How does Nick feel about
Nick
Dr. Umar?
first of all, Nick loves you. He brought
That's my
he
guy.
brought your book.
Yep.
And Dr. Umar, I don't think he know. I know Dr. Umar. I love Dr. Umar.
Yeah, me too,
I think. Look, I understand empowerment to our community. Right. It's not like I haven't come from. I have a black mom, a black dad. I have black siblings. I have a black child. Like I have a lot of blackness in my life.
Right.
I give back. I'm creating things for black people. So I'm like, I don't know what he wants me to do. And also,
Like your ancestors, so I don't know what you
I don't know what he wants me to do. So I'll give to his school. Like, what do you want? What did you tell me?
He said, is it coming out of your money or that white man's money?
I'm like, it's all green, you know?
So when is the first time you heard a Dr. Umar video and you was like, what the? Because you got to feel a way when you first
I
hear
am
it.
so interested in. I am so interested when I hear people are like, black people need to keep it black. You know, like it's like like I'm always interested because I understand. I understand like a communal sense. I understand I've dated many black men, and I get it. It's like, it's a great thing, but I feel like I know he would say, I'm like, people fall in love with who they fall in love with.
That's true.
But also the percentage of black women to black men, there's way more of us. There's not one and there are people, most black men are married to black women.
That's right.
And so, but also there's a lot of single black women who are, the numbers don't match. It's just like, there's not enough of y'all. Where else are they supposed to go? To who else? So like, figure that out.
So what do you tell a father of 4 black daughters that possibly might be dating a white boy? What would you tell that father? Look to the right.
Yeah.
Ain't none of my daughters doing that.
Do they go to private school?
No.
They go to all white schools.
They're all white school. They're private school. So look to the right. What would you tell that black man?
I mean, I would say, look, the first thing I did ask Nick, I'm like, have you dated anybody other than black people? Because I'm not your fetish. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta.
Oh, he might just have great taste.
He does.
Okay.
And so
Obviously.
he does. I mean, you know if this person's a good person. Just first of all, start there. Is he kind? Is he, have him over, get to know him. Don't push it away like it's not gonna happen. Because it probably will.
Because then your daughter will rebel.
Like bring it in. Bring Dr. Umar to your house.
Dr. Umar is like the scarecrow of interracial relationships.
You got hurry
But as much when you push it away, that's when it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Just bring it in and allow your kids to talk to you. She sees the amazing black man you are. It doesn't mean that she doesn't value that. Yeah. It's just you like who you like at the moment, and it's moments in time. So
I wonder if those other brothers you were dealing with stepped up. Did they ever? Because it seemed like Nick from the beginning knew. Like
he knew.
He knew.
Yeah,
he knew.
When you making statements like, "I can't believe you're not married," that's what's already on your mind. Like,
oh my God,
I want you to be my wife.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, I think people are. I mean, you are where you are in life. You're either ready for more or you're not. And I say to women all the time, if you don't know where you stand nowhere at all, with somebody. And so I knew. And you're either afraid to ask the question or you're like, where are we? If you don't, if you're asking that, you know where you are.
That's right.
Nowhere.
That is right.
And so, and some people are ready and then some people are not. And I was ready when I met Nick, and so was he.
But the other brothers weren't ready when they were dating you.
They weren't ready, and that's okay though.
As they lost.
Yeah,
that's okay.
It was because Nick got you. Nick proposed to you with a Peloton bike. How true is that?
No.
On a Peloton bike?
No.
Well, he brought one.
Let her tell it.
Yeah, no, he proposed when I had the baby because we already did all the things. Like we had the baby. People always think like it took us a while to get married because that was my choice. People are like, he ain't marrying her. See that white man? I'm like, that's not even it. It's me. We got together. I got pregnant. We bought a house. Like there was so many things happening. I was like, slow down.
Yeah, you was keeping it black. I like it.
Yeah. I was those men who weren't ready for me.
That's right.
I was like, this is too much.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Yeah.
And then he proposed on Christmas, or like around Christmas. He put the ring under my daughter and told me to pick her up, and he had a note and he was down on, and I was like, are you sure? Like, I was like, I'm a lot. He's like, I am positive. Yeah. I was like, okay, cool.
So where did the Peloton bike come in at?
He just bought me a Peloton bike.
Okay. Because
yeah.
I've seen online, like, he proposed with a bike.
He does these scavenger hunts during Christmas, and like he hides stuff and he's thoughtful.
Yeah.
And where I'm like, what do you want for Christmas? He's very thoughtful.
Spontaneous.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest with you, you got a very black name. If it's Tika Sumpter James.
No, it's Euphemia Sumpter.
So it's no James.
So you didn't.
No, it's his name is Nicholas Muscarella.
Damn,
Nicholas James Muscarella.
Nicholas Tika Muscarella.
You
so
wanted
it's
that?
Euphemia Sumpter Muscarella.
That's like mozzarella.
Okay.
I have the longest name. It doesn't even fit on like most of my, when I travel, they're like, the name doesn't fit.
Definitely not on test when you were a kid.
No.
What did your family think when they first met him? And what did they think? Because they're from Queens, so I know family back then, parents back then were a little racist.
No, well, my dad passed away when I was 13, unfortunately. And my mom remarried a white guy, actually. And so when she first brought him, I never saw, like, I was like, what the hell is this?
That's what you said?
I was scared. I
Yeah.
didn't know. I was around Black people all the time.
Right.
And I was like, who is this? Like, what? I didn't understand. He'd be like, you want to go get ice cream? I'm like, what? What?
Yeah.
Like, you're scaring me.
Throw me in the back of the police car after that?
I didn't know. So my mom was fine with it. My mom got a divorce and she went back and she married a Black man who's amazing and they're in a great relationship.
I saw Dr. Umar frown and smile in my head in a matter of seconds. He's like,
She said, so your mama dated white and you dated white.
Yo.
It's like, no, Dr. Umar, she went back. So she was fine with it. We were fine with it. I mean,
love that.
it's nobody that, I think everybody was like, what is this? And is he serious? And what does he want? And all that stuff. But yeah, they were definitely supportive.
this might be a stupid question, but is there anything you learned on Mixed-ish that you bring into your life now?
I try not to bring any baggage that I've had onto my daughter because her experience is going to be so different than mine in a lot of different ways. Like we homeschool our daughter now. We took her out of her private school, and we read more than ever. We do more math than ever, but we've been reading these civil rights. Actually Nick reads them to her and she's like, I love history, Mom. And she's like, how could somebody not let people sit where they want to sit? And one day she came home when she was in school. She's like, Mom, Martin Luther King Jr., right? I was like, yeah. She's like,
no, she think you know him.
yeah. I know. One day she knows. You do know him, right? Like,
you knew him.
No. She's like, that man who shot him looked like Dad.
Damn.
Right.
Damn.
I was like, well, calm down. Calm down. She's like, he looked like Dad. I was like, well,
oh, man.
Kids say the darndest things.
Jesus Christ.
Damn, how did y'all explain that to her?
God.
Like, what?
I was like, people were crazy. I
Yeah.
was like, and I mean, that's what happened. And we talked to our child how we want to give her, for me, I remember, you grew up like, kids aren't meant to talk or just sit there and be quiet. But I think for me, what I struggled with was not understanding my own emotions as I got older.
Yeah.
Not being able to communicate with a guy and tell him what I actually want. Because I'm like, what do I feel? What do I feel? And I want my daughter to be able to express herself. And so I don't think she talks back to me. She just asks a lot of questions. And she's like, well, I need to understand why this is the way it is or all the things. And so I'm giving her the tools to be able to speak up for herself. And you say you want your kid to have a voice, then you got to give him a voice to have. And so that's how I feel with my daughter. So we talk about a lot.
I love that.
We were just having that conversation earlier about emotions because, they love to say women are more emotional than men, which I don't believe. And I believe if you are a man that doesn't know how to, properly express your emotions, there's work you can go do on yourself.
Oh, my God, for sure. And that's what, I started Adventures of Curiosity Cove, which is a kids podcast that maybe, how old is your not your
My
baby?
son is 12.
He's 12, so he wouldn't. But it's about emotional intelligence, and it's about, we created all these stories for kids because Ella used to be like, tell me a story. And now she's like, can you put on my podcast while she's in the bath? But it's these stories that like help kids.
She is living the damn life. While she in the tub, can you cut on my
Yes.
Dang, I know that's right, Ella.
Yes, she is. And she, it's these stories that for kids that help them with understanding social emotional intelligence. And so I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, make sure
Hold
y'all-
on, she got a children's book coming out too called "I Got It From My Mama."
I got it from my mama.
Okay.
I got it from my mama. Yeah, it comes out next year around Mother's Day, and you can pre-order it now. But it's really about the idea of like old school parenting mixed with new school parenting, and when gentle parenting is not so gentle. And so it's this idea of like this little girl being like, I got this from my mama, I got this, and it shows all these things. Like, I love how she does her hair, and I try, and she sprays this perfume, and then I spray my drink. All these things she's gotten from her mom. Her mom one day snaps at her, and she goes to school, and she ends up snapping at somebody like her mom. And her mom is basically like, where'd you get that from? And she's like, I got it from you, mama. And so it's the idea of mirroring what we see And it's okay as long as you repair it. And so the mom basically takes responsibility and apologizes to her child for snapping. And I think for me, like even to this day, my mom did something to my daughter and she's like, I ain't apologizing. And I'm like, Mom, it's okay. It doesn't take anything from you to just apologize. Like, because you're teaching your child what
your
that
behavior.
means. Behavior.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like when you're all, I'm not apologizing,
That's
you're
right.
a kid. They're growing up thinking they don't need to apologize. It's a cycle of, chaos.
You have to break that.
Yes. And so for me, it's the understanding of newness and what that means in parenting. And so it's called I Got It From My Mama. So I hope you pre-order it.
Definitely going to pre-order that.
What's the
Thank
greatest
you.
piece of advice you got from your mom?
Oh, man. I don't know if I got the advice, but I saw the advice. And my mom is super resilient. And I saw her struggle a lot. And she never gave up. She knew she had mouths to feed, and she knew that she had to work really hard. And so for me, I feel like the biggest thing a kid could have is resilience. Because if you have that, I feel like you really can. You're not so easy to give up on everything, you know? And I think nowadays, even for my own daughter, teaching her like, girl, no, you're gonna do this. We made her stay on piano when she didn't want to do it. And now she's like, she goes downstairs by herself and she just plays the piano and all that stuff. And I'm like, no, you gotta follow through. And so for me, it's never given up. Like my mom never gave up on us and she never gave up on herself.
Yeah.
I saw you post this on Instagram once, and I thought it was good. You said, would you speak to your best friend the way you speak to yourself?
Oh my gosh. I feel like, and I'm guilty of this. Like the way we're so hard on ourselves nowadays, and especially like the hustle culture and like, you know, Jess is doing this and Envy's doing that. And you have all these podcasts, like we look at all these people and thinking, I'm not doing enough, or I'm not enough, or I'm not smart enough to do what they do. Or it's like, do what you do and speak to yourself. I would never, Jess, if we were best friends, I wouldn't be like, you know, I wouldn't be mean to you, right? Or if you were talking about yourself crazy, I'd be like, are you crazy? You're amazing. And then we go home and we're like beating ourselves up daily. And it's like, you're literally whipping your own self, you know, into a frenzy. And so I just feel like talk to yourself how you would talk to your best friend.
I got a homegirl named Rachel. She would like if she heard me talking crazy about myself, she'd be like, don't talk to my friend like that.
That's right. That's right. I agree with Rachel.
Yeah.
Rachel and Dr. Umar.
I know. That's right. And Nick started doing some research and be like, what you mean you agree with Dr. Umar?
No, he would probably be like, I'd love to have a conversation with him.
Yeah.
Like the first question Dr. Umar gonna have is, so you read your black daughter civil rights? How dare you let a white man teach her history?
We both do.
I love it.
Oh Lord, Dr. Umar gonna come after me.
Yes.
You want more kids?
I don't know if that's in the cards for me. I'm older now, and we'll see what happens. My daughter wants she wants either a dog or she does want a sister, but we'll see. I do.
Okay.
I do.
Well, check out Sonic the Hedgehog 3 in theaters on the 20th of this month. And thank you for joining us so much.
Oh my
Always
God.
a pleasure.
Thank you so
Love
much.
you.
I love you. Thank you so much, y'all. You guys do a great job
You
here.
and Nick got to come up here together one day. I think you
Oh,
Nick,
my
and we have
God.
Dr. Umar
Yo,
sitting
shut up,
there.
man.
No.
That'd be amazing.
Fireworks.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Actually, him and Dr. Umar might be best friends. Nick he somehow becomes best friends with people you would never think you're
All
like,
the blacks.
All the blacks.
Dude, wait, wait, we were at a club in Atlanta one time. This is before we were together. And he's sitting there, you know, he has his drink. It's full of black people. Not one, there's probably one other white, and it was his friend who came. And he's comfy. And I'm like, hey, you good? He's like, yeah, why? What?
Right.
What? And I'm like, oh. No, he is comfortable. It doesn't matter who you are. He's very comfortable. So Dr. Umar, you, me, and him for lunch, please.
Like,
he's
what am I scared of? My ancestors used to have all these people going crazy. I ain't scared.
You're stupid. Yo, she's stupid. Jesus Christ.
And they're going to have questions after this interview, though.
No,
yeah.
I got it from my mama. Oh, your mama was with a white guy and she left the white guy for a black guy, and you want to meet Dr. Umar? What's going on?
Crazy.
Tika Sumpter. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.